Ooh, look at that. Listen to that fade out. Who would have
Dude,
thought?
I love our intro song.
It's the best. It's called Night Driving. I mean,
Oh, it
can't
feels
get any
like
better
it.
than that. It's a nice
Yeah.
smooth. It's like makes you just like a nice little Sunday night drive and around town. You get that deep rasp going on. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. You know, you can't beat that. It's college football. It's NFL. We're back. It's fall. The Bears are Super Bowl champions, from all I can tell. All this talk about Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. No, it's working great. Tom Rinaldi, Jerry, we met Tom Rinaldi.
WNU alum, Tom Rinaldi.
That's right, we met him. He's a great guy. I will say a fun story about Tom Rinaldi. It's so funny. When me and my dad were at the Notre Dame game, we're sitting there and they did like the Irish media thing where like the Notre Dame students put on like a recap of all the other sports, and at the end it goes, "I'm blank Rinaldi," with your Irish update. And I looked at my dad. I'm like, oh, I wonder who his dad is. Wonder who it is.
Yeah, right.
So, Tom Rinaldi's kid goes to Notre Dame, which, Jerry, I think it's great. I think he's a junior now.
There you go. Hey,
That
shout
makes
out Tom Rinaldi.
Yeah, it makes us feel old, I feel like, because when we met him, that was like 2 years ago, and he's like a freshman. So,
Yep.
But Tom Rinaldi, great guy, great storyteller. He's made me cry many times. That's what he gets paid to do.
Sadness or
just great stories.
and like you weren't like laughing so hard that you started.
No,
crying?
it was sad, you know.
Oh my God.
Like the one that he did about the Purdue kid, that's like the all timer.
Yeah.
That
I also
one-
love that Trevor's like man checking right now. He's like, "Oh, you cried?"
No,
Yeah,
I
cried,
just
bro.
Trevor cried during Marley and Me and only watched like 30 seconds. So
yeah, dude, I got a freaking flashbang by Marley and Me. I walked into like there's like 15 minutes left in the movie. I just sat down and started watching, and within 30 seconds, I'm sobbing.
I looked over at him like, "Are you crying right now?" Like, we don't cry. It's not a thing to do around here.
Oh my lord! No crying in the retirement home. No crying.
No. Clearly, Dabo needs to go. I mean, this guy is terrible. He's awful. I mean, he's lost his fastball. We'll get into that. To start out here, we'll talk about some other upsets that happened this week. Texas Tech beating Utah 34-10. Look, Texas Tech spent some money and it's paying off. I mean, they are loaded. That defensive line was scary. Utah is a great offensive line. There's two guys they talk about potentially first-round picks, and their coach is like, this is the best offensive line I've ever had here, and they got dominated without a doubt.
This is one of the things I've actually predicted correctly this year. That's few and far in between, so I'll take my victory lap as it goes. No, Texas Tech this year, they didn't make a lot of headlines for what they did. Like, they made interesting headlines because they spent a lot in very key positions. They didn't spend tons on the quarterback. They didn't spend on receiver, like a lot of spots that we see that transfer portal money going to. It was very targeted where that money went, but it was a lot of money. This score is a little deceiving. This was a very close game until the fourth quarter. Then Texas Tech kind of ran with it. This is a matchup you could see again. This is one we could be seeing a couple months from now, and I think that's in Jerry World still, Big 12 championship. So if that's the case, I could see both these teams making it back here, but it's still a long season. But I've been very high on Texas Tech for this reason. The way they spent this money, this is a team that's supposed to be very good, and when you're supposed to be very good, you do things like this.
Boom. Yeah. I think Texas Tech looked really good. I was a little disappointed with Utah because I picked Utah. I was hyped up on their defense, one of the best defenses in the country. And like Jerry said, the score is a little deceiving, but their offense didn't look particularly good for Utah. But Texas Tech, I should have known better. This is one I was close on, but Jerry, if you were here, maybe you could have talked me out.
Guns up, baby.
Guns up. Yeah.
Where's the tortillas?
I mean, it happens. We all went 3-3 on our picks this week. I will say that we all did fairly decent. The first half of this game was ugly. 5 turnovers total. It was like a pinball machine there for a second. Texas Tech's backup quarterback came in and played very, very well. So that was pretty big to see. If they need it, they have a backup. That's one thing in college football that's really not talked about, but you may need it. Notre Dame with Angeli last year against Penn State. So to have that. And then Memphis beats Arkansas 32-31. They field stormed to Arkansas. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. The field storming is terrible. Arkansas, are you kidding me? We're going to field storm for Arkansas. They're going to beat Notre Dame this week. No, I just said that.
It's a bunch of drunk college college kids looking for a reason to
get their school fined.
Yes.
And their tuition raised.
To act unruly. They're just looking for an excuse to act unruly. I didn't catch a whole lot of this game. I just saw some highlights or whatever. But yeah, Arkansas is at the bottom of the SEC, so it's cool to see Memphis beat them. But who cares?
It's tough to go to the Liberty Bowl. Brian Silverfield's done a really good job here at Memphis. The last couple of years, there was a couple years ago, right before COVID or right around COVID, where you're like, this team's kind of middling, and now this is a good resume win. It is truly what this is. Even though Arkansas has kind of gone back and forth, they're not top end of the SEC right now. This is still a big win for any opponent team in the G5 that's trying to make that type of push. So for them to take this one, it was a close game. Arkansas is, I think, a little bit better than they look, but I also think this kind of tells people that Memphis is a really good team. And so, yeah, honestly, one of the few times I'm not pro on the field storming here because I thought Memphis was going to keep this game close no matter what. I didn't think this was going to be a blowout one way or the other, which says a lot about both programs.
Yeah, and I think right now ESPN has Memphis as like the highest percentage-wise to make the playoff out of the non-Power 4 schools. So I'll be very interested in seeing. I think there was 3 other American teams on there. Memphis is also in the American. So the American championship game could be a playoff game moving forward. You never really know. All right, other games before we get into the 3 games that we'll definitely talk more in depth about. Notre Dame got the first one over Purdue. It took like 5 hours, but hey, we did it. Offense is elite, maybe the best offense I've seen in my lifetime at Notre Dame, and defense still sucks. USC beat MSU 45-31 after in the darkness. That was ridiculous for Michigan State to play 11 p.m. game. Just terrible. It's just like Utah played a 10 a.m. game. That's awful. Oregon is still rolling. They played Oregon State, so they won the Civil War, I guess. They go to Penn State next week. That's a big one. Massive game. Dante Moore looked really good too. I think he had like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Oklahoma holds off Auburn 24-17. Nasty game. Hugh Freeze almost got that first big one at Auburn, but did not happen. Jerry's Mizzou outlast South Carolina 29-20. How'd you feel during that one?
Mizzou likes doing this one-score game thing. Yeah, and we don't have special teams really down right now because our kicker towards ACL first game of the year. So you get weird scores in close games that are extra nerve-wracking. But big win there. I want to go back real quick to Auburn, Oklahoma. 10 sacks for Oklahoma in that game.
Yeah,
school record.
Yeah, almost had a Jackson Arnold revenge game that didn't work out there. But that's a game that I was impressed with both teams. And that sounds very like neutral. This is an Auburn team we don't know a lot about. Very young, a lot of good wide. They're good on that. Their receivers good, capital G good. Mateer was all right, like he was solid, but that's 2 really good SEC programs. That was a dogfight.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising when you have a school break its sack record against you and it's still a 1-possession game at the end of the game. That says a lot about Auburn to be kind of resilient. And Jackson Arnold being resilient. But, Oklahoma's defense looked good. They look good against Michigan. So I still have high hopes for them, especially when we get to the college football playoffs that, I know it's kind of far in the future. But I think this is a team we could see make it pretty far in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma's one of those teams where people thought, okay, like maybe, they have a very tough schedule going forward, but everybody's like, oh, maybe, they can maybe figure something out or, whatever. But no, they've started out very, very good. Dabo's, I think, plan for Brent Venables to get fired and come back to Clemson is crumbling in his eyes. But yeah, I mean, Oklahoma has a shot. They have a quarterback. That's all that really matters. They have a guy that can make plays, and they had that crazy like trick play where the guy was like looked like he's on the sidelines, was wide open. So they're very creative. So it would be very interesting to see moving forward. All right, last one. Miami, they rushed all over Florida to the win of 26-7. Napier just needs to be gone. Like, he has ruined everything that it means to be a Florida Gator. I would assume DJ Lagway looks terrible week after week, and that's a kid that has some talent and very much promise, and it just does not look like it's going well.
Well, and I think too, Florida had a lot of opportunities to make this game either like a tied game or something. and it just never came to fruition. I think that DJ Lagway is a quarterback who is playing with almost zero confidence. I think that LSU game really dipped his confidence level, which sucks because he is a very good athlete. I would like to see him turn it around and figure it out because I do have high hopes for him. But yeah, this game wasn't like it was pretty competitive for parts of it. But I just think Miami has some of the best defensive linemen in the country. You saw that against Notre Dame. You saw that here against Florida, where they basically stifled any attempt for Florida to get the ball moving at all. So Miami looks really good. It's not easy to go, to an SEC team's home field and win in the trenches. And Miami did it with relative ease. Like I said, there were parts of this game that were pretty close, but Florida could just not get any momentum, could not get anything moving, and they ended up getting taken down.
God, if you're a Fuller fan, such a frustrating couple of weeks because their defense has been really good. And what hurts even more is, 27-6 doesn't feel like a great defensive performance, but man, you go in LSU, you let up one touchdown as a defense in that game. A lot of that, Lagway throws 5 picks. You go into this game, your defense holds arguably one of the better offenses in the country to 27, and that's after you keep gifting them the ball. Yeah. That's what I think is really frustrating about this situation is Lagway, again, like Trevor said, doesn't look like he has playing with confidence. He didn't practice that much this offseason. There was a shoulder surgery there. I do not remember if it was on the throwing arm or not. So that took him out of like spring ball, and then fall ball was weird. That's kind of what is coming out of the word out of camp. So it's just a dual frustration thing where it's like, not only is the quarterback not playing well, your defense is really good. Cormani McClain, what a steal from Colorado. And he's been fantastic. But you keep doing all these things on one end of the ball that's been highly elite, and it just gets erased by a bottom tier in the country offense right now. It's from a quarterback that you expected a lot more of, and we're going to talk more about quarterback play for some of these high-powered teams that have just been struggling. I think we kind of all know where I'm going with that. But, man, Lagway had, I know, some real hype. So did a lot of these guys that are struggling in this moment, especially a lot of these Heisman favorites. We can talk about an Arch Manning, a Kate Klubnik, et cetera. But the fact that they have had such great defensive performances just squandered is even more frustrating.
Yeah, I think, and for a large portion of the game, I think the score was like 13-6.
Yeah,
and
it was a close game for the most part.
For a while, both teams had a shot. Obviously, Miami extending that lead, and then Florida making it a tie game. And to your point, Jerry, Florida's defense looked good. They did not look like it was a 27-6 game the entire game. Mm-hmm. They made so many stops that gifted Florida opportunities to tie the game or at least, make it closer, and it just got squandered every single time. So I think Florida does have a really, really good defense, but they just have nothing to accompany them on the other side of the ball.
So looking at Florida's schedule, so now they have a bye week. I mean, they're glad that they have a bye week at this point. It has just been a rough sledding. Texas at home, at Texas A&M, Mississippi State at home, another bye, Georgia neutral site, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, Tennessee at home, and Florida State at home. They could very well go 1-11.
I think it's the most brutal schedule. If you take in the context of everything that's happening, I think it's the most brutal schedule in college football.
Yeah, I mean,
when you're just waiting for an opportunity to get your footing to gain some sort of momentum as a team, they never get it.
No, I mean, Texas is top 10, A&M's top 10, Georgia's top 10, Florida State's top 10, Tennessee could be at that point, Ole Miss could be at that point when they play them. I will say, Trevor, to your point, so I met a guy yesterday. His brother is the assistant offensive line coach for Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And he said that his brother said that the Miami defensive line was the best defensive line he has ever gone against as a coach. And there was talks that it could potentially be one of the best defensive lines anybody on Notre Dame staff has ever watched. They are that good. So, yeah, to your point of them, I mean, it's scary how good they are.
Yeah.
They can just – it feels like they're one of those teams that they can get to the quarterback any chance they want to.
Well, and for a Notre Dame person to say that,
Yeah,
when
I mean that's
Notre Dame is notorious for winning in the trenches.
yeah. No, I mean, and so it was just one of those where he was like, they looked at it like there was just nothing we could do. They're so good, and they even said on the broadcast last night they were like Bain and the other kid. They're like they fight over who gets more sacks. They want to get to the quarterback first. That's terrifying if you're a quarterback.
Yeah.
You got two defensive linemen who are on the same team fighting. Like, no, I'm going to get there, man. I'm going to get there before you. But no, Florida has a lot of issues. Billy Napier did a lot of goodwill, willing that team to a winning record last year. I just do not know if that can happen this year, but we will see. Speaking of a team that won in the trenches, without a doubt, they got back to their brand of football, and to me, that's why they beat Nebraska. Michigan, they beat Nebraska 30-27. Yeah, I mean, in the trenches. This was old school Michigan football, running the ball, defense and offensive line controlling the ball. Nebraska is a good team and has a chance to be good in the Big Ten, but if they cannot figure out their offense and defensive line and get it to play better, they aren't going to be able to do anything. They gave up 200 some yards to Michigan running wise. Bryce Underwood had a draw play that I don't even know what the Nebraska defense was doing. He just wide open down the seam, scored a touchdown. And for Michigan is he's not throwing the ball a ton and not getting a lot of yards, which is good, but you're still winning football games, and he has the capability to do that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think, and the other thing I would say for Nebraska, they need like a go-to weapon. They really feel like they don't have anybody. Dylan Raiola, I don't know what the hell he's doing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't play terrible, but he makes the game look a lot harder than it needs to be, I feel like.
I was not impressed by Raiola. Now, one thing I accounted for in this game, and I was really impressed by Michigan. I was really impressed with this 2-game stretch without Jerome Moore. Biff Poggi obviously has former head coaching experience, but look at Charlotte. That should tell you a lot. But like you get in a 2-game stretch, including this one. This is a big time game in Lincoln. This is a heart of college football place. This is one of those spots you really want to play in, a spot that the sport cherishes, always sells out, etc. A lot of hype coming in. Matt Rule year 3. I want to talk about this and that. And yeah, it was there was a 30-27 at the end here. This was not a 3-point game. This is a little bit of a comeback luck here. Michigan was the better team. And between not having your head coach in this position and absolutely just beating some butt on the line. I was way more impressed with Michigan. So really I don't want to say super disappointed in Nebraska, but disappointed. I don't want to, I'm kind of going like dad levels here, disappointed, super disappointed, frustrated. I'm not at the frustrated level, not even super disappointed, just disappointed. Given that bad glare, just you could be better. Well, Raiola had some moments, but at times he just frustrated me as a quarterback. And we can go on the Mahomes comparisons, which is what Royal is known for as much for literally all he does. I have a story about that. I'll let Trevor get here first. That will make us all laugh. But this Nebraska team, you need to win a game like this if you want to take that step forward. And with the team that doesn't have their head coach, receiving core that is not fleshed out yet, you got beat in a spot where a guy like Matt Rule is supposed to be dominant, that's in the trenches and be a bigger, more physical team. And Michigan was. I'm thoroughly impressed by Michigan's performance. And this is supposed to be a down year, and you win games like this, that bodes well.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that, I mean, honestly, like from everything that I saw yesterday, I think this should have been the game day game. If we look back, if we had our, hindsight glasses on, I think this was the most entertaining, the most meaningful game that happened all day yesterday. There were portions of other games that, looked competitive or close or interesting, but from start to finish, I would say that this game, had the most weight on it. There was the most to lose for both teams and the most fun to watch, I think. So, it looked like a Big Ten football game. It wasn't like we threw all over the place. Like you said, Michigan had 200 yards rushing against Nebraska. That's Big Ten football. So it was nice to see Michigan. I mean, sorry, I'm a new Notre Dame fan. It was terrible to see Michigan do so well.
Go. Good job. Very good. Very well. Very good.
But I think that they look promising. They do.
Caleb, if you can do me a favor, you can pull up a creepy photo. Nolan Mark's comment there about Dylan Raiola. So to prove the point on why this is so funny, during spring ball, all these teams have like one of their big games in the spring game, etc. So I guess Nebraska was doing some like fun thing where their quarterbacks are throwing the ball in like a basketball hoop. So I'm like, I'm going to make this. I was working the morning show at this time. I'm like, I'm going to make this the kicker and be like, and we'll play off the fact that he looks like Mahomes. So I throw this thing into a tease, the actual moment where he throws the ball like 40 yards into a basketball hoop. And one of the morning anchors, who's a great guy, he's been this longtime sports guy in St. Louis, now is doing the morning show. He goes like, that teaser's wrong. That's Patrick Mahomes. And I'm like, it's not. I promise. Like, trust me. I like a little bit of like, I know ball. Trust me, this is not Mahomes.
But I can see where you're going, but no.
I'm like, you are leading right into it. Like, this is exactly what I was going for. And that's, I don't want to overly all day spend like the, oh my God, Israel trying to do with Mahomes impression. It's whatever. Like, there's too many think pieces about that for mine to matter. But I was just not impressed with his play overall. Okay, one of his touchdowns is a Hail Mary.
Yeah, 50 yards.
50 yards, that's either a touchdown or an interception. We talk about this game very differently without that moment happening, obviously. But it's not like, oh my God, his elite arm talent. No, he just threw the ball up to 8 people. They had some nice drives, but there's other times where we struggle with the same experience in Chicago, as I think Caleb's watching the game to see if I'm wrong, where there's indecision in the pocket. And it's just sitting down there waiting for something to happen and then either taking a bad sack or scrambling super late and hoping to get 2 or 3 yards. That doesn't help that Nebraska's receiving core is not fantastic. But this is a guy who's supposed to take that leap, who's had a lot of that hype and has brought up a lot of attention onto himself by doing these things. So in these types of moments, and again, this is supposed to be down to your Michigan in theory. I don't want to say it's like bad Michigan, but all these little factors, the scandals, Sharon Moore being off the team for 2 weeks, all this type of stuff, and then you don't come out and you don't play your best game. Then it's like there's not many other things you could have in your favor. And then you come out short. And again, overall, Michigan looked like the better team. Shout out to Biff. Great post-game interview, too.
I mean, Biff is just all over the place. I mean, this guy's taking America by storm. He'll probably get another head coaching job just based off of this. I wouldn't be shocked. Michigan, looking at it, they have a bye week next week. Another bye week, I'd say, because they play Wisconsin the following week. Then they have to go to USC. That's going to be a tough one. But this Michigan schedule is very favorable now with this win at Nebraska. Wisconsin at USC, Washington at home, at Michigan State, Purdue, bye week at Northwestern, at Maryland, and then Ohio State to end the year. I mean, this is very favorable in a Big Ten that is going to be a little I think it's going to be tight. I think the Big Ten race is going to be super tight coming down the road. I do have a real quick story about this game. I don't know if it's true or not, but I got a call yesterday. And Creepy Photo Nolan Mark's brother, his roommate went to the Nebraska game, talked to Bryce Underwood, and supposedly showed him a clip of our show.
There's no way that's
I don't believe it. He sent me a picture of him talking to Bryce Underwood, and it looked like he was showing him something. So there is a great possibility that we're in the Michigan locker room.
Let's go. We have not been nice. Well, we've been kind of nice.
I've been nice to Bryce Underwood. I said the team in general, because he said something where he showed a clip of me talking bad about Bryce Underwood, which I don't think there is one. And I guess Bryce Underwood's response was F them haters.
Touchdown Bears, by the way.
Touchdown Bears.
Fourth and goal.
We're back. We're the greatest team of all time. I don't want to hear anything. 85 Bears, we're coming for you.
I'm so glad we can join sides here because like I said previously, I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah,
so much. So to see you guys do this makes me so happy.
I mean, Caleb Williams just looks amazing. Tom Brady's calling the game. He looks like a Tom Brady.
Well, also DJ Moore is standing wide open in the middle of the end zone.
Yeah, but that was on the run, Trevor. That was a hard throw.
That was a hard throw.
Not very many players can make that throw.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are.
And Bryce Underwood in a couple years might be able to make these types of throws.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, you know what? We got
it.
He can. He can, and he knows about us. Okay? That's all we know.
Oh, we're going to end up on like Barstool. Oh, in like the worst way possible.
No, Jerry, that's good for us. That's how this podcast gets picked up.
I don't want to be a part of a
job, and we can all do something crazy together, and we'll all get like one of those influencer houses, and we'll be balling.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
The incoming Dave Portnoy tweet in like 2 weeks with our clip. Oh,
I don't think you understand how happy I'd be if that happened. I would be, give us a job, we can create content. Look at us now, we're in your head. To me, this next game is more, and I never thought the state of Indiana would kill the state of Illinois, but I'm pretty sure it happened this weekend.
It's not about being in a head. How about Indiana's defense in Luke Altmaier's head?
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Indiana, 63-10. This was embarrassing by Illinois. For Brent Bielema, a guy that's supposed to be tough nose coach. That was awful. Indiana looked really good. They're better than last year, I would say, just based off their quarterback. And they got a shot in this Big Ten to really mess some things up.
Yeah, I was oh no, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, my dad has recently gotten into like betting on football games and stuff. So he's
As
constantly
he should.
yeah. He's constantly like asking me things, which I don't know anything, so I'm like the worst person to ask. But he was so confused that Illinois was ranked 9 and was giving like 6.5 points or whatever. And then I think he watched this game and now he sees the vision of what was happening there, because I also made an argument last week, and I'm glad that no one listens to the show and no one is like, will take their idea seriously, like at the college football level of like making decisions, that this should have been college game day. If this was, I mean, it was probably equally as ugly as, because I know Caleb was talking about the Florida game while this game was happening and how terrible Florida looked. And I just kept thinking while I was like, well, Illinois looks even worse than Florida. Like Indiana absolutely massacred Illinois. And I was going to switch my pick last week too, because you guys kind of were on the Illinois train, and Caleb wouldn't let me. So Caleb, shout out to you.
Yeah, I tried to warn you. Illinois, they burned me. They burned me. I was riding high on them. They beat Duke. I think this game comes down to Illinois is not as good as we thought they were.
Yeah.
Which then maybe makes Duke not as good as we thought they were. But
These
then it also
orange
makes
schools,
Indiana better than we thought.
I'm telling you right now, the orange schools right now are not having a moment.
No.
We're going to talk about another orange school in a minute, but like Illinois.
You may be on to something.
I forget what was like 2 years ago. I think it was Clemson, Tennessee, Orange Bowl, and I'm like, this is the peak of orange schools. Like this is as we go. Like 2 orange schools in the Orange Bowl. Like it doesn't get much better than this. And I don't. Maybe that was a turning point in society. Like you know, for the orange school nations, like
Orange president.
Hey, children's program.
Time out. Let's be careful here. The only orange we rep around here is the Bears, so let's go.
We're gonna get clipped on a little bit more than just Dave.
Let's go, dude. You guys are welcome.
You guys do not know where I work. Do not tell them in the comments, please. No, like the orange school, like okay, Oregon State, bad vibes. Just got smoked in their own rivalry game. Illinois. Half the state of Illinois is thinking about seceding to Indiana. Indiana might not want it anymore after that type of beatdown. Clemson. Oh, no. You got Florida. They got some orange in there. Uh-oh.
Yeah, painful.
This is bad. The only orange
like a puppy getting ran over by a truck.
Dude, we only got 2 orange teams we love here. That's Fran Brown, Syracuse, and the Chicago Bears. So, like, there you go.
The Bears.
Hey, Syracuse calls himself the Orange.
Well, I know. So maybe it's like orange supremacy.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here. I don't know how I've gotten on the color train, but yeah, all Luke Altmaier saw was red. So that's kind of the problem in this game. The one question I had about Illinois all year, and I got no answer to it today, was what is Illinois' offense? And yeah, the answer is there is none. This is supposed to be a defensive team, and I think what makes this so astounding of a beatdown is obviously not just the score, but Illinois is supposed to be this really good defensive team. That's all these pieces coming back. Now I know they're missing, I think, 2 pieces from their secondary, which does not help in a game like this. But it's like, if you're supposed to be the elite defensive team, I get if you don't score a lot, but you give up 60, and crazy. Before this game gets into the, basically the football version of putting the position player into pitch, kind of what we got into the end of this game, like Indiana's just running right through them. there is a unironic case, and I have two Notre Dame fans here, so they're not going to like this take, that the University of Indiana might be the best football school in the state right now.
Yeah, does that make us mad?
I mean, honestly, at this point, no, you're right. Creepy photo says Indiana score versus Notre Dame. Are you meaning this year's score, or are you talking about when we beat them? But this year they put up 60 on us. Have you seen our defense?
And I
think a Rocket football
wildly
team could score on our defense.
This is with Indiana. The big question a lot of people had, and I also had, was you didn't play anybody. Okay, and now they did what they were supposed to against the teams that weren't much, right? Week 1, Old Dominion, yeah, they beat. It was not as convincing as you'd like, but you can now take that up to Week 1. Because Week 2 and Week 3 against Kennesaw State and Indiana State, absolute beatdowns. And when you play teams that are at that level, you're supposed to do that. That's all you're supposed to do. But then you come into a game which, again, the Illinois recoup, like, they'll be on Big Ten game day or whatever. No, Fox game day. Sorry, it's just all the Big Ten schools now. But they'll be on that noon kickoff, and they'll look a little better next week probably against USC. And everybody like, oh, maybe not that bad, but oi. Like, for a defensive-led team to let up 60 points, that's a statement. Kurt Cignetti had a really good, funny comment about this where I dropped it. We're a kid-friendly program. I dropped an explicit after I heard it, which is they're like, oh, how'd you get to the pressure Illinois? And he just goes, just watch the Duke game. They just turned the ball over 5 times.
He knew. He knew.
Whoa.
He saw the field, man. He saw him.
Well, and this is what is so funny. Like, we feed into this, right? Of like talking about, ranking teams or who's good and who's bad. Before this game last night, Illinois was the 9th best team in the country.
Yeah, it's very true.
And then that's just kind of the issue. It's like, yeah, if you make decisions based off of who is ranked what, you don't really know until they play each other, I guess. But this just shows that it's kind of, I'm sure there's, other teams that are in the top 25 that would have done similar things to Illinois. It's just, what I'm trying to say is no one knows anything. We are all clueless. We picked Clemson to win the national championship.
Y'all.
I had them in the national championship.
I picked them to win. I thought they could win it. I thought this was Dabo's year, but clearly he made Jesus very mad again.
Well, this is a very data point reliant sport, but we only have really 12 options to get, like 12 games, 12 moments, 12 sample sizes to understand these teams, and it's becoming even harder every year. And this is not me defending anyone on this program or anything. I really don't have anything to defend. But like in an era nowadays where people can move so quickly and roster building looks so much different, this is where in Indiana, and props to Kurt Cignetti, has been fantastic. Kurt Cignetti's a good coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. James Madison's a prime example, and James Madison's done good without him too. I don't want to completely act like that's a 1-1, but what did he do when he came in here? He brought a lot of James Madison guys in. He brought in a lot of guys, like his quarterback was still a Mac, right, from Ohio last year. Now he gets the guy from Cal that was good in Mendoza. Like, they brought in good pieces, and you can do that very quickly. Now, what he's doing is historic. There's two things here, right? Like, the way he's doing it is in like a level repeatable. At the level that he's at, no. And especially at the school we're talking about. Indiana has Assembly Hall. When you think of Indiana athletics, you think of basketball.
I think of Bob Knight throwing a chair.
Right? You don't think of the guy whose last name sounds like a cigarette absolutely destroying your program. But here we are.
By the Bears, by the way.
Yeah, Bears just got an interception. Jerry was in a deep thought. It was a hell of a play.
You guys know.
By Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, we're just the greatest team ever created.
Illinois we had to sacrificed.
Yeah, we had to show up for the state of Illinois. Clearly,
the National Guard's coming for the secondary of Illinois. That's kind of what's going on here. Not even for Chicago. Bears are fine.
Yeah,
no defensive help in the Bears for the Bears, but yeah, when you go on our priors, and the thing about Illinois too, they didn't have as many competitions. Yes, they played Duke well, and we're kind of still figuring out Duke. They've had some good games. They just beat NC State really in a good game like that. Those 2-3-0 teams, but when they played like I think it was Western Illinois, they beat the hell out of them. So like all our data points and moments lead this up to it being a really good matchup. And the two of these teams got on the field. And one team looked like the number 9 team. The other team looked like not even the number 19th overall team. But those numbers were not right at all. And really, for both these squads, Illinois, the big queen thing was like, you could lose a game like this or two, and you can be the playoff darling. No. You get beat like that? I don't know. I don't know, Jim. I don't know, Jim.
Indiana stole their thunder. I will say, though, for Illinois, even if you shouldn't have been a top 10 team and you were, you cannot get blown out like this as the number 9 team in the country. You just cannot.
And one thing I will add, too, is that we're like talking about the college football outlook for Illinois. The rest of their schedule is definitely more favorable than, let's say, like Indiana. I know me and Caleb kind of talked about this a lot Wednesday, and it's kind of why I wanted to switch my vote, because I could see that Illinois, wins this game, and then they have a pretty favorable. They don't have to play Ohio State, don't have to play Michigan. I think their one tough game is, I think, Penn State, and then other than that, it's really not too bad. But Indiana looked very good against this team, and they have some pretty tough matchups. I think they play Oregon. I think they also play Penn State.
So Illinois play USC this week, and then they play Ohio State in 2 weeks. They don't.
Okay, so that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
But other than that, it's fairly easy after that. At Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, at Wisconsin, Northwestern. To look at Indiana, now they have to go to Iowa, bye week at Oregon, Michigan State at home, UCLA at home, at Maryland, at Penn State, Wisconsin at home, bye week, and at Purdue. So, yeah, I mean, they have to go to their hardest games on their schedule. They have to be visitors to, and those are two of the tougher places to go play in the country.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call it right now. Mendoza for Indiana will be a first-round pick in the NFL draft if he can come out.
I was very high on him off of Cal, and now Cal somehow got another great quarterback whose last name I'm not even trying. Yeah, I'm not even trying that one. But like, he was fantastic there, and this is scary. IU last year was a good team. I don't think anyone really doubts that or really second questions that. But there was, as we talk about with a lot of these teams, and we go and play the schedule game a bit, there was schedule favoritism. It did help that they had some weeks back and forth. And even with a harder schedule here, right now they're giving Oregon a game. They're giving Penn State a game.
Yeah.
And if they take just one of those and go through the rest of their schedule with the way they're playing right now, we're talking about them in a Big Ten title game. Like that's the type of question we're having here. Not even like their strength of schedule isn't that great. You beat a team by 50, it really doesn't matter about the strength of schedule. And this win might get devalued over time, especially if Illinois these next 2 weeks goes USC, or I think they're in Champaign, loses USC, loses Ohio State, kind of loses that luster. Like that will be a solid win if everything goes right. But I could see that having a little bit of a nosedive moment here. But the final score won't change, and even if Illinois kind of comes back down to reality a bit, and everyone's like, oh, maybe they're not that great. Maybe they're not even a top 25 team. The 50-point blowout will still feel the same, no matter how you put it.
And I think, too, even if Indiana loses to Penn State, loses to Oregon, your 2 losses coming to 2 top 10 teams in the country is a pretty good I mean, that's obviously assuming they don't lose outside of that. But orange teams that don't look very good. I just did a Jerry
one orange team, one non-orange team. It is very, very tough. Real quick though, this is crazy if this is true. Creepy photo. I had Bears pick today gambling chat.
We don't condone gambling. Well, we condone gambling. That's fine.
Condone, but do not listen to us. Clearly, do not look into this guy. Look at this guy's photo. You're gonna listen to this guy? Are you kidding me? But no, the Syracuse Orange, they made Dabo cry. That is a fact. He cried on his own field.
Look who's man criticizing crying now, Jerry.
I know. This is crazy. We're doing a lot of dude checking today. This is a safe space.
This is one that you can control if you cry or not. And he clearly had the ability to cry or not cry, and he ended up crying because probably his own fault. I will say real quickly, Steve Angeli tore his Achilles in the game yesterday. He is out for the year. All right, that is Steve.
Syracuse's.
That's Syracuse's quarterback, Notre Dame's former quarterback. He was on a collision course with Notre Dame towards the end of the year to throw for 1,000 yards on us. And thankfully that will not happen, but prayers up to Steve. Yep. No, in all seriousness, Syracuse goes into Death Valley Junior and wins 34-21. Really was never a game for the Clemson Tigers, I would say. It always feels like they're playing from behind. They're trying to catch up. Like they have all this talent, and they are just ruining it. Clearly, whatever Dabo spews and says nowadays, no one listens.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue from what I watched yesterday is you're 100% right, Caleb, is that they're always playing catch-up. But when they're playing catch-up, they throw a lot of that onto Cade Klubnik. And he's a good quarterback. But I don't think he can handle constantly bringing Clemson out of these bad spots, which we have seen for 4 weeks in a row, basically. Yeah. So Syracuse, they looked pretty good to start the game. Slowed down a little bit, but I mean, they looked like the better team, which is so crazy because if you look at the players and stuff on Clemson, you would think, this team is one of the best in the country, which is what we thought going into the season.
They have like potential, or they had potential like 4 or 5 first-round picks on their team, or first-round picks, and none of them are playing it. Your point to Cade Klubnik, if he's getting stuff shoved on him in college and he can't handle it, clearly that's not going to look good for when he tries to go to the NFL.
Yep.
Fran Brown Hive, stand up, baby. Come on. Now, I will tell you this year, you want to talk about news and things that make people cry, make even grown men cry. It is Steve Angeli tearing his ACL. That is, or torn his Achilles. My apologies. That sucks because Syracuse, this is a big win. Still doesn't have an easy road ahead of them. I don't know if this is, again, a 10-win Cuse team, even with Steve Angeli in mind. But for them to pick it up, the second year of Fran Brown after getting Kyle McCord, kind of like a Ohio State reject moment where like, we could do better, and end up working out for both sides, take it for what it was to, bring some life back into this program after kind of years of mediocrity under Dino Babers. Like, this has been fun. But it's almost at like what cost, so it's like you beat Clemson, and this Clemson team, there's problems, there's question marks. I think you guys have addressed them way better than I ever will. But I do look at this as this is awesome, one awesome moment, but the price you might have to now pay for it could be really almost too steep.
Yeah.
But I'm still very high on Fran Brown. He's done a really good job of just making this program really much more talented. Because that's what he was really good at. At Georgia, he was a big-time recruiter guy. Like, it was one of those guys that worked in that staff, and that was one of his big things. He kind of approaches the game a little bit differently, the way he talks, the way he walks, all this type of stuff. Like, it's just a little bit different. He's not your cookie-cutter version of a college football coach nowadays, which a lot of people would think is a guy like Dabo, right? He's loud, outspoken. Everyone knows about Dabo Swinney, the way he talks about God. He's talking about NIL. That's a God's name, image, and likeness. That's an actual quote. Don't worry. Like, that's the thing about him is he was – and at one point he was the perfect cutout of what you wanted in a college football coach. But the guy on the sideline against him is doing everything different. And now look at the final result here. Now, I'm not trying to make the big old claim that, like, Fran Brown, better coach than Dabo. Put it here first. Like, don't worry. Don't put me in the Clemson locker.
Caleb will do that. Caleb will do that.
I mean, potentially at this point, he showed yesterday that he is. But right now,
I think the big thing about Dabo all these years has been how reluctant he was to change. Because of when he got to the mountaintop, he was untouchable. And one of the things about him being at the mountaintop, he had generational quarterbacks, at least at the college level, right? We talked about Trevor Lawrence, like Jesus Christ, hair and all. Before that was Deshaun Watson. And okay, we get it. We're stopping there. But like, those are 2 number 1 picks, or 2 top 5 picks. Like, that's that type of QB play.
You even had Taj Boyd. Do not forget about Taj Boyd.
I love Taj Boyd. Yeah, Kelly Bryant. Oh, God.
Mizzou's own Kelly
Bryant, baby. Oh, man. I remember when he transferred in. That was great.
Yeah, that was supposed to revolutionize the program at that point.
Hey, now we got Bo. I'm a Bo lever, so it's all good. But, like, God, I did not expect that tangent. But, he was a guy who didn't dip into transfer portal for a long time. Even before this, when it came to coordinators, he hired one within. And when you had Venables and Tony Elliott, that's a great idea. When the offense started sputtering, when Tony Elliott left, when the defense came back to normal, when Brett left, and you stayed in the family, and then you lost a year or 2 there. Then they get Riley for the offensive coordinator.
Terrible.
I remember off of defense. But it's like terrible. It took them forever to make that type of change. And when they made the change, they made a big-time change. Riley was coming off that year at TCU. where Max Duggan looked like a good quarterback. He's now a battle hawk, if that tells you anything. And it wasn't, we're not going to do the transfer portal. If you can leave if you want the transfer portal, but we're not going to do transfer portal. That's not how we work. That's another year or two lost. And I don't know what their NIL situation looks like. It's like you've lost 5 years. And I get it. He's won the ACC. That's great. You were winning titles. And it's almost like you've created the success. You've created the problem a little bit. So I don't want to be like, oh, no, poor Clemson. But if you want to be the guy who's at the mountaintop, no one can touch. I'm better than you. I know all my things. Then you have to do the things to be that guy. And now for years on end, they've been behind in the sport and where it's going. And they've paid for it by, even if they have some titles to their name, they're not the expectation that they set for themselves. And you have a really talented roster and a really talented team that is not performing. So it's at what point it's what's next. And I'm not like, this is not, again, the Dabo Fire show. This is not the Fran Brown's the better coach ever. One has 2 titles, one doesn't. Right. But
right now, Fran Brown's better.
You've waited all these years to make these slow changes because you thought you knew better. And now you're sitting at 1-3. You're sitting in the heart of your ACC schedule. And that Troy game, mind you, that wasn't a beatdown. It wasn't like they went to, that they had their one great game and everything looked awesome. No, that was a fight. And each week they look a little bit worse. Also, this game had a rain delay. Long games.
Every game has a rain delay now.
It was a rainy day, and
this is crazy. So Clemson has a bye, and then they got to go play Jordan and those pesky Tar Heels over there in North Carolina. Then they got to go to Boston College, SMU at home, bye, home at Duke, home for Florida State, at Louisville, Furman. Don't even know if they're going to win that game, and at South Carolina. I think the bigger concern with Clemson is that they're losing at home in these games. I think there was a stat. I don't fully remember the stat fully. I want to say maybe NBC had the stat where from like his first, like when they were in their heyday, I think they only had 3 or 4 total home losses, and in like the last like 3 years they've had like 6, and they've lost 2 this year at home. Yeah, 2 this year at home. They are just he's lost his fastball.
Well,
everything about it.
The all the talking points that I heard yesterday, which I kind of do agree with, is that like, hey, Dabo is stuck in his ways or whatever, and I guess that's something that made Nick Saban great, is that he was willing to kind of evolve. And then when the whole NIL thing came around, and Nick Saban didn't really agree with the things, I guess.
Yeah,
he hit the road. Yeah. And so I just think if you're so reluctant to change, if you're so reluctant to change with NIL, with the transfer portal, then you go to retirement village.
I mean, that needs – I mean, here's my question to you. Does he go to Florida, or does he go to a retirement home in Florida?
Hey, get it right. That man said, if they don't want me here, I'll find another place to coach.
No, that's what he said, yeah.
Maybe that's what he needs, though. I mean, honestly, maybe it is time for him to go somewhere new and to get rejuvenated and to fight, to reclaim himself as one of the best coaches. I mean, yes, he's a great coach without doubt. Like, historically – he's been very good, won a couple national titles. It's just they were a 17-point favorite as well in this game. I think 17.5, 17-point favorite to Syracuse. This is not basketball. This is football. And I think the other thing for Clemson too is, and this is tough, is really before Dabo got there, they were like historically, they were like an okay football program. Nothing spectacular. He elevated the program, made them a national prominence to where everybody's like, oh, Clemson. So yeah, I think it's just, you cannot lose as a 17-point favorite at home when you are supposed to be uber talented. Your season's on the line every game you're supposed to play from here on out going into that game. There's no urgency. Like Jerry said, he has all these different sayings that he has. None of them are working anymore. And now it gets to a point where it's like, hey, do they even want him there? And, being good is not good enough to them. I will say for Clemson, though, say he somewhat maybe turns this around. They're 9-3, somehow getting the ACC championship game. Who's going to be better for you than Dabo? Like, that's the other argument with Clemson. It's like, what are you going to get that's better? Because clearly you have struggled to
Someone
hire
who will
people.
go into the transfer portal and look to grab people.
Like, who are you going to get? I mean, Jimbo Fisher going to come knocking down
We did talk about that, didn't we?
We
Talk
did.
about him for
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech, yeah.
Well, the calculus on this job is so weird, and I look at this job somewhat similarly on a higher level to what's going on at Oklahoma State.
Yes.
You want to talk about orange schools struggling? Here we go.
Yes, struggling yet again. Guns down over there.
Stillwater. The water is very still. Actually,
Water.
I'd argue the water is
like
not
Flint's
still.
water.
No.
It's like Flint's water, actually.
Well,
no.
Tulsa came in and they moved the water a little bit and the rock to be exact. So now, but this is what's so interesting about Clemson. It's the same thing with Oklahoma State going on right now. Is these are two figures in Mike Gundy and Dabo Swinney that are so instrumental to the program. When you think of these guys, and down there it's program. I apologize.
Program.
When you think about these programs, you think Dabo, you think Gundy. That's first, even before some of the players, right? Which is crazy. Bama is probably another example of this, but not even by much. Because with Bama, you probably think of a lot of great players, not just a couple. But it's like the calculus on Clemson's weird. They have put so much money into that place now. And to make that football at its heyday a couple of years ago so elite. I remember they had a slide in their practice facility for some reason. That's the type of money we're talking about here. This is not a broke program. This is not a place that has no money. But it's like this is a place that's been shaped by the success of Dabo Swinney in our recent memory. The same way the ups and downs of Oklahoma State have been shaped by Mike Gundy. So it's where do you go? Now, do I think Dabo's done? No, I really don't. They'll win probably a couple more. They are on the weird if they do screw up a really stupid game in the future. We are on Florida State watch here. So that is something like just we're eyeing it. I'm not putting that on the ether too much. But it is kind of you're in this weird spot of like, what's better? Is a change of scenery possible? Could a change of scenery make things better? Sure. It could be better for Dabo. It could be better for Clemson. But that's a big swing, especially for in both our situations in our orange school dilemmas. Like Oklahoma State post Mike Gundy, not much. And they've had their highest highs under him, and they've had now some of their lowest lows here. With Dabo, it's the same way. This is the guy who lifted up the college football trophy, made Clemson a household name, and a powerhouse in an ACC that was devoid of a powerhouse and was struggling and is kind of always had transitional pieces. Right? I know you guys talked about Virginia Tech a fair bit and who goes next. At one point, Virginia Tech was a hot school, right? And still has all these things. And I'm watching Caleb's reaction to see what the Bears do at the same time.
They're getting screwed in this game.
What's new? But I'm trying to think about what's next for Clemson in that long-term period. And it's like, it's not like Dabo's tree's that big yet.
No.
And if you're going to go his world, you're going in the Alabama retread direction because he is a Saban guy. And so it's like, it's really weird time, but even if they go 9-3, this is the frustrating part. That's not what they're expecting to do.
No, they're expected to win the ACC, win the national title. From my point of view,
and it even just, not even national title, second round of the playoffs. I think that's a fair spot to put this team in. They're supposed to be a second round team, playing in the big bowl game after they play somewhere else or they get the bye. And right now, unless they make everything right, we're not even talking about them in the playoffs at all. There's probably some elimination graphic on Twitter already. Don't worry.
Oh my God, Bears just got an interception, sealed the game. I mean, we're the greatest team.
So I'll say that when I think of Clemson, I don't think of this Dabo guy. I think of Hunter Renfrow, who plays for the Carolina Panthers. Caleb, take us to the NFL. I'm nailing this, dude.
You are doing it very good, but I will say, so this comment here from Ken, this may be the greatest comment I've ever heard.
We'll take him in Arkansas.
This is the smartest thing I've ever heard. Arkansas is going to be the retirement home for coaches. Cal had to do it with Kentucky. Look at it. I mean, you can't tell me this is not a home run.
Hey, right Arkansas's got money.
Arkansas's
got the Tyson money and the Walmart money.
Run. Ken, bring them down to Arkansas. This is the smartest thing that a commenter's ever said on this show. Smartest thing ever. I like this a lot. This Ken guy, hey, he's got it right. Dabo can end up in Arkansas. You know what can end up in Arkansas? Cannot. NFL. It's just not a thing down there.
Damn, R.I.P. Little Rock. Damn, Little Rock Erasure right here. That's a great city.
It's just not a thing. All right, NFL Week 3. Clearly, the Bears are Super Bowl champs. I don't even think we need to discuss anything else. It's great to be on top, to win a game in the new era. Jerry, I told you last week, Mike Ditka started 0-2, Ben Johnson started 0-2. He's going to win the Super Bowl. That's a fact.
Just a lick of happiness. That's all I wanted, and we're getting it. That's all I want.
This is a Bears. This is how the Bears should play. Great offense and dominant defense. Dak is whack. I've tried to tell people that for years. Dak is whack. He's terrible, overrated. What does he say? Here we go, or whatever the hell it is. He should just say, "I'm whack." There you go. I mean, all I've heard all week is how Dak's healthy. His best football he's ever been playing. Yeah, you know what? He showed up in Chicago and he had to play the Bears.
That's right. The Bears.
I mean, that CD Lamb injury, we're definitely keeping an eye on for an already struggling Cowboys team. Not good. Not good vibes there.
Good.
Yeah, that was a bad ankle sprain. That's yikes. The game that I found fascinating. One, we had I think Trevor, we were talking about this before the show. The stretch of block kicks today in the noon slate or 1 o'clock Eastern slate.
There's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. When
you
I
weirdos.
don't know.
Yeah,
you
noon. Jerry, this is not college football Saturday. Noon.
Yeah, noon?
Yeah. See, you guys don't get the best coast time. God's time, as the kids would call
God's time. Who's ever called it God's time?
Well,
God's time.
Bob had it. So
I've never
grew up in Central Time, baby. That's all I could say.
I have never heard anyone say God's time for
God's
Central
time. Okay, best time to watch sports too. Again, referenced by your Michigan State Spartans starting at 11 o'clock Eastern. How about 10 o'clock? A little bit easier.
That's not the 10 o'clock's a terrible time to start a game.
It's better than 11.
You're telling me you're waking up at 11? Dude, on Saturday I'm sleeping in until at least 11.
Yeah, your game day starts at 8 a.m. That's terrible.
That's specific time.
No, it starts at 11. It starts at game. Yeah,
I'm taking 11. College game day, like the official start of the day on Saturdays. Yeah. It's 9 a.m. It's 8 a.m. over. That's terrible. How many people are up at 8 a.m. on a Saturday?
On a Saturday?
You guys don't know about it yet. Oh man, them early morning wake ups, great.
The sad part is we only live 45 minutes away from a central
time. Also time zone division here. That's my own different beef. That's a different problem. But yeah.
Hey, do you have daylight savings time over there or don't you?
Yeah, we do. Okay, we get it. The sun sets at 10 o'clock at sometimes over there. That's weird. I've always proclaimed that's weird. Caleb can attest to this. But yeah, the slate of block kicks in the early slate, since I now have to be so time sensitive, was wild. And also shout out the Browns.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they made the Packers look terrible. And there's not a better day when the Bears look great and the Packers look awful.
Well, the thing with the Browns, God, it's like talking about the Florida Gators, but yes, NFL terms. Fantastic defense. Stefanski's a really good defensive mind and a great head coach when it comes to defense. What is good? That offense is just bad, man. Now you made Green Bay look human after the first 2 weeks of them looking supernatural, which is a big deal. But it's shout out to that. That's a big upset. I watched the Raiders, not the Raiders, Jesus Christ. The LA Rams implode in real time. That was interesting.
That was awesome.
The Rams
big one for Trevor.
The Rams have had the last 2 times they played the Eagles, they had a chance to beat them and they lost.
Dude, I thought we were done.
Game of 2 halves. Much. That first half.
Why you make adjustments?
That first half, it's all the things that Philadelphia fans have been worrying about was just coming true in the first half. And the second half was oh my God, we remembered how to play football again. That's one of the craziest halftime adjustments
Dude,
I've seen.
It was awesome. Time. It was awesome. And I will say this. I don't know. I'm a big TikTok guy. It's the only real social media I have anymore. So
it means you're okay with giving all your information to China.
I was, 8 quarterbacks that are better than Jalen Hurts. And I had to sit there and watch after Jalen Hurts threw for under 100 yards against the Chiefs and won the game, and had to watch people tell me that people like Jordan Love are better than Jalen Hurts.
Whoa, Jalen, what?
I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, Jordan Love. Wait.
Wait, whoa, Jalen, what?
Jordan Love is better than Jalen Hurts.
It's a child's program there.
What is? Oh, anyway.
He's talking about the Minecraft farming tool. Leave him alone.
Yeah. So to see Jalen Hurts throw for over 200 yards, have 3 passing touchdowns, rushing in for 1, and also having him on one of my fantasy teams was such a amazing moment in my Sunday. The one thing that was a little devastating in the moment is that the Rams kind of very easily Puka Nakua'd their way downfield to get into field goal range. For some reason, I had confidence that either A, we were going to block the field goal, or B, he was just going to miss it. Luckily, Jordan Davis is a huge man and just stuck his big meaty claw up and blocked.
Apparently he's fast.
And he's fast. Dude, he lost 50 pounds. That dude moved.
You could tell.
Yeah. So that was I'm not super concerned by our defense kind of flustering there at the end because Puka Nacua does that to everybody. Him and Matthew Stafford have this like twin-like connection where they can like read each other's minds, which is beautiful, but also terrifying. But yeah, I'm glad the Eagles won, and I love that the Bears are kicking the crap out of the Cowboys. And kind of like you guys are like the Bears are doing good and the Packers are doing bad, so it's a good day. The Cowboys are doing bad and the Eagles won, so it's also a good day for me.
Yeah, and the Cowboys have given up. They put Joe Milton in the game.
Yeah.
4 minutes left. They gave up. Dak is whack, and that's all I need to know.
You want to talk about giving up? We'll get to the Colts in a second. Don't worry.
He's teasing him. He's teasing him.
You want to talk about giving
edging in some places, right?
Giving up. This is a family show. Jesus Christ!
What are you talking about?
I hated that. Man, giving up. I'm talking about the Bengals. Even Fox gave up on that game, or was it CBS? I think CBS gave up on that game.
It was a backup quarterback bowl. Carson Wentz. 5 straight years. Get this before you talk, Jerry. 5 straight years he started for 5 different teams. How is that possible?
It's beautiful.
It's
like the Ryan Fitzpatrick levels of journeyman.
Yeah, I hate Ryan Fitzpatrick too.
In my household, we talk about people like this, like Chase Daniel. Backup QBU, baby.
Mizzou legend.
Backup QBU. Blaine Gabbert, Chase Daniel. Next one, Brady Cook on the Jets. Close game for the Jets, by the way. Bucks starting up 3-0, and they've been a very weird team. I have Baker in my fantasy, so I was keep an eye on them. Yeah, the Colts looking dangerous. Danny Dimes, Danny Jones, Indiana Jones, whatever you want to call them. They did finally punt. That's a big thing we need to mention here. Yeah. After 3 games, a punt has happened.
And they're up by like 14 already.
And so, yeah, the Colts are looking good. I'm definitely keeping an eye on them because, again, Daniel Jones has looked really, really good. It is funny that the whole controversy around Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones going on here as the Bears are trying to throw away this game.
No, I got called back, Jerry. You're behind.
I'm behind. Cool. All right,
yeah. Central time that you're on is.
Yeah, Trevor was looking for that pass actually from Joe Milton.
We're having a storm, I guess.
Yeah, it's Joe Milton throws. They're coming at you 90 miles per hour.
It's like 30 yards over my head.
And there's a pop-up happening.
The other thing we need to take note of is the Carolina Panthers. Absolutely.
That was crazy score when I saw it. 30
First of all, McMillan absolutely proving why he was wide receiver 1. He's been fantastic.
Yeah.
We are on, I said this, I think last week, we are truly on Michael Penix's watch. He has not looked good at all. And that is not good because this is both. So you want to talk about, I think that's AFC South. Like this is, this is supposed to be the year that Atlanta could kind of come together. They have these pieces, maybe QB of the future. I think the shine is quickly wearing off there on Penix, and I am very curious how that goes. The Jags with a big win over Houston. That's another one. Like a lot of weird, but really important games that we'll come back to later in the season happening here. Like again, this Jaguars win is gonna be one we'll talk about with Houston a lot because we don't know much about the Jaguars. This is a year 1 team under Liam Cohen. Trevor Lawrence is somehow still young, but has been in the league for like 5 years. So take that for what you will.
Duval.
Yeah,
so terrible.
And last week there was the big thing where Liam Cohen was telling him to Trevor Lawrence to hit the guy in the hit receivers in the chest, and he like waved him off, and there's a big controversy like, is this bad and all this, and then they win next week. So there goes your sideline reading of the week. But Yeah, a lot of big ones, and I'm also eyeing the Raiders because Geno has not looked that good with his old buddy Pete Carroll. And even with a backup quarterback, Washington took care of business here, but I'm starting to think more and more that the Raiders might just not be that good.
Well, what about the Seahawks Saints? I mean, what an absolute butt wooming. Geez Louise.
Well, what's going on, dude? What is in your head?
Whooping 44-13. That's the final score there.
I mean, are the Saints going to go 0-17?
That would be crazy.
The game we have to make sure we mention here because I'm actually keeping an eye on ESPN. 2020 tie here between the Chargers and Denver. I've not got a chance to take as much of a peek on
the Chargers are slowly driving down the field right now. They are on the Denver 36. I'll be able to tell you they are moving from right to left. You can tell I've listened to a lot of football radio. The Chargers are moving to right to left. Broncos just called a timeout. We're gonna take a 10-second pause for station identification.
Oh, that's a real deep pull there.
Yes, it is. That's a guy that's listened to a lot of radio football over the years. Should I say presented by Learfield?
88.1 FM. There you go. You're back.
Presented by Learfield.
Okay. But that's also a big time narrative game in my mind because Chargers 2-0. They took down the Chiefs, which is kind of like you want to talk about a team that feels like everyone's Super Bowl. It is still the Chiefs, even though they are 0-2. And we could be talking about Denver a lot differently if they lose two close games. One of them that also you want to talk about, we're eyeing the Colts here as a 3-0 team that finally punted 3 games in. This could be a 2-1 Colts team if there's not a weird leveraging call that I'm not saying is right or wrong. It's just you don't see it often. And then boom, they hit that game winner. So you go down here, you have a real tough fight with a Chargers team that continues to just keep trudging, and you lose again in a close one. Ooh. So that is a game here that, honestly, as we kind of get to the end of this podcast, we might have the final score before we go off, which is awesome. We love this live NFL stuff. And then, obviously, we have the 2 big games left. Caleb, hit us with an update.
Well, I was just going to say Cardinals 49ers are 15-13 at the 2-minute warning, and the Cardinals currently have the ball.
I have no idea what to make of the 49ers.
Cardinals are creeping, man. They're 2-0 right now. Nobody's really talking about them. I don't know if they're that good, but, I mean, I get Brock Purdy is not playing for the 49ers, but still, that's just a big perception win for the Cardinals to be like, oh, okay, they went to San Francisco and got the win. So yeah, I mean, tonight we have the Chiefs Giants. Gross. Both 0-2 teams. Who would have thought that both the Chiefs and the Giants would be 0-2 when they played? I mean, we thought they were both going to be 2-0 and they're going to be on fire. Let Russ cook.
Let him cook.
Yeah, I expect the Chiefs to come out, and it's going to kind of feel like that year the Patriots played the Texans and they just creamed them on Sunday Night Football. That's what I expect.
Creamed them.
Maybe we start using it as a catchphrase. Creamed. He got
cream all over them.
Cream. All right. Cream everywhere.
You sound like Dylan Raiola talking about Patrick Mahomes here, guys. Let's relax. Let's time out.
He got creamed. He got creamed in the face.
You're using all your cream for the wrong game. Monday Night Football is fantastic. That's
I think we can't let Lions fans think they are somebody.
Hey, man. I tried to come in here as neutral as possible, as I literally wear a Bears hoodie, and we're talking about the Bears, so take me for the grains of salt that I use. But God, I wish that Baltimore. This is gonna sound really weird. I really wish
Chargers won.
Chargers
win this one.
Field goal at the final second.
You're telling me Dicker the kicker just won it for him?
Dicker the kicker just won. Yeah.
Wow.
That's now a 1-2 Broncos team.
No. So many people thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl. Bo Nix and Sean Payton. Next thing of Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and just look at it. Look how the cookie crumbles.
Well, this is a team too. Earlier we talked about Nebraska, like 1-score games that are just not going their way. Again, both the losses on game-winning field goals. So this is this is how it's a game of inches and all these cliches. It comes down to this. You've lost by 6 points in total, I think, now for your 2 games. As Trevor leaves here, he's trying to block a kick.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Next. So we'll go on there. But no, I am very curious to see what Detroit looks like this week. because we've gotten two very different games out of them.
True.
Week one, everyone's like, oh my God, they missed Ben Johnson. This is, the end of the era. It's all over. Window closed. Week 2 against the Bears, they're like, oh no, they're fine. So why not put them up against another elite team in Baltimore on that Monday night game? I just wish, even though that Week 1 game was so good, I wish this was Sunday Night Football because Chiefs New York feels like a perfect Monday night game, but it is not because they already did Baltimore. Buffalo, which again was a all-time historic game, and what a way to start our season here. But man, I always think this is like we're at that point of the schedule where it's still the flex things, and it's like, oh yeah, this would be a great matchup. Patrick Mahomes going to New York, and it's going to be Russell Wilson. And it's like, okay, there's 2 0-2 teams. One 0-2 team has played 2 really good teams, 2 undefeated teams.
Yeah.
And now that we have the score in for there, New York has just been weird. Maybe New York has some offense. Like that's the only thing I could see here. But the Chiefs went ugly, so I expect this game to just be ugly no matter what.
I mean, I will say in this game tonight, somebody's going to be 0-3. I mean, come on.
What a great revelation, Caleb. Thank you so much.
Pretty honest. It's just like when a quarterback throws an interception, they say he would like to have that one back. Well, yes, he would.
Hey, it's not about radio cliches.
All right, creepy photo here. The Bears officially won. I think he's asking for it. Who we liking tonight in each prop in game tonight, please and thank you. I like the Chiefs to win by 5 million touchdowns. Mahomes, it feels like he runs for like 50 yards a game now, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, he's also like less than 30 years old, which is also blows my mind.
I mean, he's 49ers charging down the field. Christian McCaffrey, oh my God, he keeps running down to the 15. 16 seconds left. All they need to do is, are they going to clock it or what? I'm real time here. This is what makes this podcast different than everybody else. They just clocked it with 6 seconds. So they had a timeout. What the hell did they do that for?
Why am I looking at the dude talking at the desk on Sky Hansen? Get off my friggin'.
See, no. That's why I'm just watching good old Fox bonus coverage here.
That's right. No, especially with this game goes, we'll probably make this our final reaction. My sports gambling's terrible. Don't take my advice. The last time I sports gambled, I said it was Cubs White Sox. I said there's gonna be a no run first inning. Chase Mydroth hit a home run first pitch. So yeah, another
Cubs
reminder
are in the
to myself.
Cubs are in the playoffs.
Okay.
This next weekend is the last weekend for MLB regular season, and then we will probably bring back some baseball talk. Just because you have the Pope, Jerry, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, we got God, baby. We have God.
I will say this is not gambling advice, but I could see a world where the Giants lose, but it's by like a last minute Chiefs thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a field goal, weird cheeky little field goal or something.
So you're saying another 1-score game for the Chiefs?
Yes, I will. And they have the spread at +6 for the Giants. This is not gambling advice, but I would potentially touch
You're
that.
gonna ride with the Giants and spread there. Okay.
Yep.
The 49ers are lining up for the field goal.
Yep.
They just released their kicker not too long ago. He lines it up. The kick is up, and the kick is gone!
Bang.
The
Eddie
49ers, Eddie Pinheiro, man, former Bear Eddie Pinheiro. Who would have thought? Mac Jones crying as well. Man, it's just been a crying weekend.
Is he crying? Why are you checking him for crying?
It looked like he was crying.
Safe space here. Safe space for Mac Jones. And then just like that, the Arizona bubble that everyone gets into every year will quickly burst.
Do you guys know how many passing yards Russell Wilson is averaging?
Probably like 350 or something
400.
stupid.
309 passing yards.
Hey, let Russ cook. It doesn't give you wins, but Russ would be cooking. That's what he'd be doing.
My question is when they go to Jackson Dart. I say that honestly because you don't take a first-round guy like that, and I kind of like the fact that Russ is like still Russell Wilsoning to some degree. But it's either that or when does Jameis Winston go to the Bengals? Is kind of the questions that I keep asking you about the Giants, especially because Dabo doesn't have that much time left, does he? Like, are we not being real with ourselves and thinking that he's going to stay there for 3 more years or something like that? They've not been that good. And I feel like they're getting into. I worry about the Giants in this situation, and they need a win soon. I don't know if it's on Sunday Night Football. Like you're going to start getting into the Bears territory with QB, coach, GM, which is yep, you get a new QB a year in, he doesn't look fantastic. You fire the coach, you bring a new coach doesn't like him, and then the team still looks bad. So you fire GM comes in, doesn't like coach, fires coach. Like it's just kind of that round robin though, where the Bears have done it plenty enough. So, but I can see this game being close for the sole fact that the Chiefs are not as explosive as they have been. But if there's a week that for them to start getting right, it could be this week because Russ has been russing, but the defense has not been defensing. Defense has been open doors.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to make of it, but I just don't have any faith in the Giants. And I think we've said on this podcast enough. Until someone beats them, you don't really bet against the Chiefs. You don't really do anything against them because they've got something. I don't know what.
No, I mean, if the Giants were to beat the Chiefs, it would be the biggest story ever. 0-3. What is wrong with them? Are they done forever? So I mean, we have a big week coming up this weekend, boys, in college football. Probably one of the bigger ones of the year so far. Notre Dame at Arkansas, USC, Illinois, Ohio State versus Washington. Washington's 3-0, a little sneaky 3-0 there. LSU, Ole Miss. Don't they play for like a trophy or something?
I think that's technically a trophy game, but that game is always weird. If anything, it is always weird.
Auburn at A&M. Indiana, Iowa. Iowa could take you to the deep end. Okay. They could take
that's at Kinnick. Kinnick, a very underrated Big Ten overall venue.
Tennessee, Mississippi State. Arizona, Iowa State. And then, of course, we have the two big ones, Oregon at Penn State, Alabama at Georgia.
I think you forgot Missouri, UMass.
Jerry.
Yeah.
What are they, the Minutemen?
That's right.
Has UMass ever won a game in their history? Don't think so. BYU
there must
plays
be a future
Colorado.
MAC school. I don't want that disrespect down the air. That's future MAC school, UMass.
They've been a MAC school in the past.
They're back.
They're back being MAC.
Hey, Jerry, guess what? Western Michigan, which is located in Kalamazoo, got a win over the weekend.
Oh, big one, too, against Jason Candle and Toledo. I will give a lot of credit there. That's a big win.
Jerry's turning the tide on Kalamazoo.
No, Kalamazoo is still a terrible town, but even a terrible town can win something. No, that's a big one because Toledo is usually a powerhouse in the MAC, which is always a lot of fun and chaos. But Candle's been there for a while. He's had really good programs, so that's a big win. First of the season. And aren't they on a new coach? Question mark?
Who, Western?
Western, yeah.
He's been there. I think this is his second year. Lance Taylor used to be the running back coach at Notre Dame, went to be the offensive coordinator at Louisville, and then went to Western.
Yeah, that's a big one. Mac's been weird this year. Miami of Ohio was absolutely having a great game on Saturday, too. They were with the UNLV. That was back and forth. We were texting about that game. So we're so close to midweek MAC games, too. Which is
Maction.
I know. I'm looking
hell
Maction. Oh, Maction.
That and like a Sun Belt Thursday game that competes with the Thursday game that's really terrible. And then you learn about a guy like Fluff Bothwell last year at South Alabama. God, now he's at Mississippi State. That's where these gems get in. Go send me to Boone on a Thursday night. I don't need Thursday night football on Prime. Send me to Boone.
What a mess. But me and Trevor will be back Wednesday.
Yes.
Little midweek college picks. We'll have Jerry's picks. We all went 3-3. Not terrible this week. We have a lot of games to choose from. This may be a 12er. This may be a 12-game pick.
Woo!
We may go balls to the walls.
Okay?
Bears are back.
Bears
Super Bowl champions. We clearly proved that. The Colts, we'll see in the Super Bowl and can't wait to dominate you. Daniel Jones eerily sometimes looks like Peyton Manning when he plays to me, but we'll figure that out.
The Bears, Colts Super Bowl. Oh, the flashbacks.
Have we ever heard that one before? We don't have Devin Hester. That's just not a thing that we have.
Williams is Rex Grossman.
No, he's not, Jerry. Quit talking like that. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, clearly. But yeah, big week coming up. I think there's some big. I think the Bucks play the Eagles this week.
Woo!
Do they? I think so.
Yeah.
The Eagles fan doesn't even know that. So
dude, I take my week one week at okay. I take my season 1 week at a time.
All
Not
right.
taking the words one word at a time.
All right.
He's been all over the map, folks. But yeah, so there's a lot coming up. We'll be back Wednesday with some picks to look ahead to college football, look over Sunday night and Monday night football. And as always, thanks for watching.
Deuces.